G'day folks. Well, over the years we have filmed hundreds of incredibly talented people across the world. Many of these artists have gone on to produce their own videos as well. We hope you enjoy this great lesson from one of our Colour in Your Life artists.
An important thing to consider when we're starting a painting is the position of the light source. If we're inside, it might be a window that is letting light in. If we're outside in landscape, then it will be the position of the sun. Whether it's up high, whether it's down low, whether it's over to our right hand side or our left hand side. Okay, so the direction of the light will influence quite a few things. So, this represents a tree, and the sun is in a high position, so it's casting a shadow directly under the tree. The position of the shadow and the strength of the shadow will have a big influence on my whole composition. Let me show you. Without these shadows, the painting would be entirely different. I'm relying on these shadows as part of the composition. So this tree here has cast a very long shadow. It's early morning. In this case, the sun being high, the light values are going to be on top of the tree. So the direction of the light will not only influence the shadows, but the shade and the lit areas. Now, another important thing about the sun, if we're using the sun, is its intensity. For example, compare the colours in this view from the studio with the same scene under cloud cover. If it's a very cloudy day, the light is, we're not going to have very strong shadows. The shadows down here will be quite insignificant. The other thing is that the strength of the colours will be quite subdued. Notice that the majority of colours in this painting are subdued. On a cloudy day, the dark and the light, not a big difference. On a bright sunny day, we're going to have really strong light on the highest parts, very strong shadows, strong dark areas. Right, so talking about what we've looked at so far. The time of the day will influence not only the strength of the light, but also the colour of the light. The colour of light at sunset is quite different from that at midday. In a bright sunlit day at midday, the pale colours that we use will be particularly pale. If it's a morning or evening, then the colours will be quite different too. Here we have a milking shed in early morning. What might be quite strong white colours will become more orange, yellow. Colour at the end of the day has an orange bias. Right, we're going to move our sun around a little bit so it's not directly overhead now. So this is going to be our sun up here, right over the side, shining on this. Well, I've already got quite a lot of light on that side, so I'll darken this part. Of course, down the trunk, that'll be quite dark on this side. Oops, that didn't get very dark. And but what's happened now, of course, is the shadow has lengthened considerably. Short on this side, getting longer here. Now, if the land here changes direction, our shadow will change direction. And of course get a little softer as it gets to the edge. Shadows then can give us an indication of the form of the land, because as the light falls here and starts to go up a little incline, the shadow goes up the incline. So this little clue, for our visual clue, tells us a bit about the land. around about the tree. Note how the shadow's shape shows the shape of the sand. Direction of the light, intensity of the light, how it affects the shaded areas, and of course the lit areas. It affects the length of the shadows. Now, I've talked about the light being out to the left here, partially behind the tree. Okay. So the shadow will come out this direction. And again, it will depend on the time of day, the amount of cloud cover and so on, what intensity this cloud shadow is and how long it is. To summarise, early in our planning we should consider firstly the type and position of light source or sources. Secondly, the strength and colour bias of the light. Here the early morning light in Cape Tribulation gives us silhouettes. The subdued colours of early morning or the brilliant colours of a sunny afternoon in France. These factors influence firstly our choice of colours, the position and degree of contrasts in lit and shaded areas, and the length, strength and direction of shadows. These are all very important considerations when we start painting.